Two hero shooters launched this year. One became a massive hit with 10 million players in just 3 days, whereas the other struggled to hit 700 players. What happened with Marvel Rivals and Concord? Both Marvel Rivals and Concord are in the same genre of games, but that's where the similarities end. The reason for the former's immense success comes down to, above all, quality and appeal. Marvel Rivals is a really well executed game. The combat works well and the gameplay is fun, although sometimes I find it to be too overwhelming because of all the characters fighting in the same area. Speaking of characters, that's where the game shines most. Most hero shooters go for gun combat, and while you can get that in Marvel Rivals with characters like the Punisher, the main appeal is of course playing as your favorite superheroes and actually using their superpowers. This is where Concord failed and Rivals succeeded. A hero shooter's interest comes from, well, its heroes, and Rivals had a great collection with characters like Spider-Man, Iron Man, Hulk, and more. This is also where Concord was heavily criticized because many found its characters to be dull and boring, and they mostly used just guns. And the bland nature of the Concord heroes wasn't helped by the art style, which is another major point of difference between the two games. Concord went for a more realistic style, which could have been interesting with the alien characters, but at the end of the day, the art style and mainly the characters ended up being nothing really unique. On the other hand, Marvel Rivals has a pretty distinct art style, one that's colorful and unique, and this increased the visual appeal of the game and certainly contributed towards its popularity. Above all this, the most important factor one could say is the difference in accessibility. Rivals is completely free to play, whereas Concord had a price of $40, which was expensive compared to its competitors but still warranted as they had to make back their budget of $400 million. Being free to play certainly helped the game, and it being based around such a popular IP like Marvel was definitely a huge boost for it compared to Concord, which was just the beginning of an IP, one they had planned to turn into a Star Wars level franchise. You should also know that subscribing is also free just like the game, and it would help me out a ton. Thanks. Rivals also launched on basically every platform, whereas Concord launched on only 2. Rivals also isn't as filled with microtransactions as other similar games, and things like the battle passes being available forever are plus points to the players. You could say that a lack of marketing was also what killed Concord, and I would agree. Marvel Rivals has been teased for a long time with regular updates and more, whereas Concord didn't have as much publicity. Plus, being a Marvel game really increased the hype surrounding Rivals. Overall, Concord failed to establish itself as a distinct enough entity in the already saturated hero shooter niche, making it blend in with the crowd, whereas Marvel Rivals capitalized on its IP and unique style. Marvel Rivals is so popular that many people are saying it could be an Overwatch killer, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Concord could have possibly reached this level of popularity too if it hadn't been for the things we discussed before, and also Sony delisting the game 2 weeks after release. But those are just some reasons Marvel Rivals is more popular than Concord. We'll just have to wait and see whether the game will go downhill from here like most new live service games or keep growing. Nonetheless, it is a really fun game. If you want to know about more gaming failures just like Concord, be sure to watch this video, and thanks for watching.